I come with love and great expectations to the Yoruba nation, to my Yoruba people at this hour, on this 23rd day of September 2024. I come with a strong desire to get my people to recognize that our nation needs now its unity more strongly than ever before in our history. I come on this 23rd day of September, the day of national unity, the Yoruba Nation's Day of National Unity. It is September 23 again today, the day that we Yoruba people have set aside to celebrate the unity of our Yoruba nation. 5 years ago, we of the Yoruba self-determination struggle initiated the celebration of this day for all our Yoruba people to mark annually that day in the year 1886, when almost all the rulers of our Yoruba people signed a peace treaty to mark the end of nearly a century of wars in our land. When we first celebrated this day in Ibadan on September 23, 2019, it was our silent but fervent hope and expectation that all our Yoruba people would someday accept from us this day of celebration of our national unity as a gift from us to all the generations of our Yoruba nation forever. Happily, very happily, we are seeing today a major beginning of the fulfillment of our hope and our expectation of 5 years ago. As we gather here celebrating this morning in Ibadan, the capital city of our nation, other groups are gathered also to celebrate in other places in our homeland. A group of our self-determination brethren is celebrating in Ile-Ife, the ancestral home of our nation. Yet another group, featuring many of our nation's august politicians, is celebrating in another place in this great city of Ibadan. It is a great day for our Yoruba nation. Yes, our nation deserves great congratulations for the major change that we are witnessing today among us Yoruba people. Since we have come this far today, the 23rd day of September 2024, I boldly and humbly urge our whole Yoruba nation to adopt this day, the 23rd day of September each year, as Yoruba Unity Day. I urge that our Obas, the fathers of our nation, should adopt this Yoruba Unity Day in their councils of Obas in all our Yoruba states. I urge that our state governors, when they assemble in their Southwest Governors Meeting, should adopt this Yoruba National Day for all our states. I urge that our Obas who happen to be in states where the Yoruba are only a small minority should adopt this Yoruba Unity Day for celebration together or in their palaces every year. I urge that our Yoruba Obas in states where the Yoruba people are a substantial population should adopt this Yoruba Unity Day and celebrate it together annually in one of the Yoruba cities in their state. I urge that the Yoruba governments of our states should set this Yoruba Unity Day apart every year for our school children to celebrate in the way that school children used to celebrate Empire Day in British colonial times. In conclusion, I urge that we Yoruba should adopt this Yoruba Unity Day as a public holiday exclusively for our Yoruba people in the context of Nigeria. When we Yoruba take these steps and joyfully celebrate our Yoruba Unity Day every year, we shall find that we are celebrating something bigger and higher than a Unity Day. We shall find that we are celebrating the unity of our Yoruba nation as one people. We shall be celebrating, promoting, and enhancing the spiritual unity of our Yoruba nation. And we shall also be honoring the memory of the great warrior heroes and royal heroes of our past. Our Are Muhammad Latosa of Ibadan, our Commander-in-Chief of the Bay of the Ekiti, our warrior Prince Fabumi of Okemesi, the great warrior chief Onofowokan of Ijebu-Ode, the great Seriki Ogunsegun from Ijebu-Igbo, the great warrior chief Ogundipe the Alatishe of Abeokuta, our many other warrior chiefs, and our many great Obas who appended their signatures to the 1886 Peace Treaty. Many of our non-Yoruba neighbors, think of us Yoruba as a people lacking in unity. Even some of our own people are used to lamenting that we Yoruba cannot have one voice. But those who say those things about us are lacking in an understanding of the true essence, the true meaning of national unity. On the basis of the essential indices of national unity, I make bold to say that we Yoruba are one of the most truly united nations in the world. The essential roots of our Yoruba unity, the essential roots of our Yoruba national unity are firm and solid. All of us Yoruba people are proud of our culture. We are proud of our nation's outstanding achievements in history. We are proud of our nation's distinctive superiority in crucial matters, including love of community harmony, serious acceptance of religious tolerance and harmony, acceptance of hospitality towards strangers and foreigners, avoidance of cheap conduct in the quest for anything, love of enterprise and achievement, a fundamental belief that power in society belongs to the people and that government exists only to serve the well-being of the people, a sincere belief that everybody, young and old, has the right to be respected and the right and duty to contribute his or her wisdom to the affairs of his or her society, an essential nobility of character. Our apparent difficulty in finding unity over matters is not a sign of lack of unity. It is a product of our deep belief that every individual has some wisdom, no matter how small, to contribute, and that everybody therefore deserves to be heard respectfully. In short, We are an ancient civilization that for millennia has placed serious emphasis on self-respect, respect for the individual, duty of mutual respect, duty of consciously deep thought in matters affecting humans and society. An unreasoning and emotionally charged group is difficult to find among us Yoruba. In the context of Nigeria's deep-seated insecurity, poverty, and deprivation, interpeople's animosity, and outright attempts of genocide by some peoples against other peoples, a civilized people like the Yoruba people cannot but experience difficulties in choosing its path forward. It is inevitable that since we Yoruba have lived in the escalating disaster of Nigeria for over a century, some of even our best thinkers will find the disaster bearable to live in. And others who are influential or connected enough to be gaining something in the midst of the disaster will also wish to continue to stick to the disaster. But we who are seriously pushing for the separation of our Yoruba nation from Nigeria and from the Nigerian disaster are different. Our perception of the Nigerian situation is not self-centered. It is not emotional. It is intellectually sound and realistic. And it is accepted now by at least 80% of all our Yoruba people at home and in the diaspora. Objectively, there is good reason to fear now that the Nigerian situation will result in the destruction of our Yoruba nation someday. In the rural areas of our homeland, where probably the majority of our people live, the Fulani people who are determined to seize land for a homeland of their own are daily killing our people, have killed a roughly estimated 29,000 of our people, are raping our women, kidnapping men, women, and children, extorting millions of naira in ransom for the kidnapped, destroying farms, food banks, and villages. For over 9 years now, they have been forcing our farmers to abandon farming, and by now most of our farmers have abandoned farming. And many of such farmers have been migrating with their families to Benin Republic and Togo Republic. This horror is increasing. It has risen to the killing of our Obas by the Fulani. There was some hope when our state governors created Amatekun some years ago to resist the Fulani rampages. But Fulani people in control of the federal government have contrived the impotence of Amatekun. The Fulani terrorists are also becoming increasingly audacious in crimes and barbarism in our main cities. Other people taking advantage of our people's hospitality and prostrate condition are rudely claiming parts of our homeland and insulting our nation most egregiously. Our kinsman who won election as president of Nigeria is being made to face ever-mounting harassment, including threats of military overthrow, threats of wholesale regional rebellion, and even a defiant declaration of war. Meanwhile, the collapse of the Nigerian economy under his Fulani predecessor, President Buhari, is proving impossible to turn around. And the overwhelming masses of our Yoruba people are being turned into paupers and beggars. In the past 2 decades, over 11 million of our educated youths have fled from home to other countries, and more are fleeing. Ritual murders are escalating among our people, and so is suicide among our youth. Our Yoruba nation is bleeding more profusely and more dangerously than any other known nation in the world today. The only viable and sustainable answer to all this horrible situation is to separate our Yoruba nation from Nigeria and to establish our own country where we shall be able to exercise our sovereignty to provide security for our land and our people, and where we shall be able to run our economy decently in the way that we Yoruba people know how to do. As we celebrate our Yoruba Unity Day today, therefore, I urge the rest of our Yoruba brothers and sisters who have been opposing or hesitating to embrace our stand out of fear or other thoughts, to step now courageously forward and join hands with us who are bravely and peacefully seeking to separate our Yoruba nation from Nigeria. It is only separating our nation from Nigeria is the only response upon which any Yoruba person of today shall be able to stand with honor before our descendants in all the future. In the interest of all our people, in the interest of our progeny, our citizens high and low must get rid of self-centered considerations and the spirit of surrender now, and go into action for our sovereign nation. If we give our united energy to it, we can easily and peacefully separate our nation from Nigeria. Let us all resolve that very soon we shall be celebrating our Yoruba Unity Day in our own sovereign country. Yes, we can reach that goal. We can do it. I thank you all.